Hey everybody, you guys, it is Saturday. Hello everybody, it is Saturday, and you guys know what that means. Wrestling Week in Review podcast/live stream number 40. Some days I still can't believe that it's been 40 times. I've done this now 40 times. On this channel at least. On this channel at least. Like, yeah, this upcoming WrestleMania, will mark like 2 years since I started going live on YouTube to just even talk about wrestling. Just to even talk about wrestling. I've been doing this now for almost 2 years, and I honestly don't know if I could see myself doing anything else but this. So I want to keep doing this. For some reason, I want to keep doing this. But you guys know why I'm here, obviously, Wrestling Week in Review. And also tonight is the Royal Rumble, so I am very much excited about that. I cannot wait to see any potential returns. Now there are some returns. I will give you all my Royal Rumble predictions and stuff as far as the matches go, and also as far as like who I think will return and who I think will debut in the Royal Rumble match. I'm gonna let you guys know all of that after I'm done going over the week's wrestling, what all the stuff that happened in the weeks of like wrestling. Oh, Simply Vago, thank you for coming. And anybody that comes in, if they haven't already hit that like button, if they want to, they can. I've said it, I say it now basically every time I go live. If you want to hit the like button, you don't have to. It's not a requirement, but I would appreciate it. Also, if you want to like share the live, also if you ever feel like just sharing out the live stream, feel free to do that as well. Now, majority of you should be at least able to have use of your community tab because all of you should have at least 50 subscribers. Because that's the requirement in order to be able to use the. Thanks. Every single one of you should have at least 50 subscribers, which is apparently the magic number you need in order to at least go live and be able to use your community tab on Instagram, on YouTube. So hopefully just give me a moment, guys. In addition to going live, I am currently playing a game on my computer. It's a football game. It's an NFL football type game, and I'm having a lot of fun. So, obviously, from the title of the video, you can obviously see what we're. You can obviously tell what I'm here for. So I guess we should just get into it because I do want to get this over with before when I want to talk about all of the week's wrestling before it gets to the hour mark, because by then I will talk to you guys about the Royal Rumble, my predictions, and also I want to talk a little bit about the Vince McMahon scandal that happened. Oh, 6:36 a.m. here in Australia. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. Good morning. It's already after the afternoon in here around 3 o'clock. So thank you for coming. Any of you guys? Hey Austin. You wanna also what I've been letting people do in my live streams is I've been allowing people to drop links to their channels in the chat. So since Austin is a mod, if you want to I'm letting people subscribe to other people. I want to do that because I know I am subscribed to a few people who do live streams like that where you can subscribe to other people. And yeah, and there's his second YouTube channel. He has another YouTube channel that's just a wrestling live stream YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. So yeah, if you guys want to subscribe to each other, feel free to do so. I mean, Austin would have to copy and paste your link simply because some of you guys aren't mods. But then again, some of you guys may have this may be your first time ever coming to one of my live streams. But thank you to everybody that has shown up so far. I've gotten 4 likes, and I've now had at least 3 people show up. So thank you for that. I am also currently working on trying to get monetized. I want to get monetized at some point this year. Would love to get monetized. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, where did you? Hey, thank you, Danny. Thanks, Danny. I'm trying to get monetized. I need about 500. Oh, McDonald's is good. McDonald's is always good. I'm trying to get monetized this year. Yeah, because I think you literally just subscribed to me just yesterday as part of when you were on Fairbrick Studios. You were on Fairbrick Studios premiere. So yeah, this is I think your first time. And Drool Paranormal. This is also I think your first time on one of my live streams because I also think we just met yesterday as well. So thank you guys for the likes. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to get monetized. And I need at least 3,000 public watch hours. Right now I'm at like 520 something. And I need at least 500 subscribers. So I want that. I want to be able to do it. But every day every day I check to see what my public watch hours are, and they're almost like the exact same, the same every time, like 520 something or 500 something. Like, come on, I want this to happen. But enough of that. Let's get into it. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. Yeah, thanks, Doof Paranormal. I definitely want to try and see if I can get monetized. Because I want it to happen. I want it to happen. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I definitely appreciate it. I mean, usually I can get at least 4 or 5 people on a live stream. On a good day, I can usually get at least 4 or 5 people on a live stream. Well, Austin, not everybody that comes into my live streams likes WWE or wrestling. Some people that come into my live streams, they may not have even heard of it. But still, I appreciate everybody that does come in. So. But yeah, let's just get into it. Monday Night Raw is always the first show in the week, obviously followed by NXT, then AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, and then Friday Night SmackDown. Now, I do not watch Impact, or TNA as it's now called, so I don't know. What do you think, Danny, of Impact going back to TNA? Do you think that's a good move? Do you think it's going to help TNA be better, or do you know, or do you even care, or not? I know not many people watch Impact / TNA, but them resorting back to their old logo and stuff, it's like Yeah, thanks and thank you. Yeah, I know not everybody that comes into my live streams are fans of professional wrestling, shall we say, but but I do appreciate the support, no matter what. But yes, Monday Night Raw opened with Seth freaking Rollins. He apparently got injured recently. He apparently got injured recently during a match with Jinder Mahal. It does suck at times, Danny. It definitely does. So there was a lot of speculation coming into this week. Would Seth Rollins relinquish the title? Would he go into WrestleMania as champion, but just keep his appearances in the ring to a minimum when it came to wrestling? And apparently Seth Rollins said that even he was worried at one point that he would not be able to go into WrestleMania as champion, but that he plans on walking. And so what he basically said was, "Come hell or high water, I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm defending this title. I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what I have to do to make it happen. It's gonna happen." And I mean, damn whoever tries to stop me, basically. Then we got Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, come out to confront Seth Rollins. He basically gave Seth Rollins his flowers. He showed his respect for Seth Rollins, which is interesting because he's basically a heel, but he's also, he doesn't have to. He doesn't. I mean, I probably wouldn't do that, Austin, because not everybody really cares about that kind of stuff. But yes, Gunther basically said that he will be winning the Royal Rumble, and then he will challenge Seth Rollins, and then he will basically break Seth Rollins en route to becoming World Heavyweight Champion. It could happen. Gunther could win the Royal Rumble this year, tonight. I don't know if it's going to happen. My two pick, I'll tell you my two picks. It's okay, Austin. From what I said earlier, not everybody that comes in here is a fan of professional wrestling like I am. They're just here to show support, which I appreciate, which I still appreciate. You don't necessarily have to be a fan of professional wrestling to come on to my live streams. I'm just happy to have any support at all. But yeah, we got a New Day versus Imperium match which this feud is getting very heated in a very short amount of time. This all came about because a couple weeks ago we had Jey Uso. A couple weeks ago we had Jey Uso and Kofi Kingston in a match against Imperium of Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Apparently Vinci got injured in that match when Kofi Kingston hit him with a drop kick. And then on the following week, that was in I guess either in the 80s or 90s, because Hogan was wrestling in the 80s and 90s, and then even into like the early 2000s. 2006, I think, was the last year he was wrestling. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It can be really crazy and chaotic sometimes. But yeah, but then the following week, we got a match between Kofi Kingston and Ludwig Kaiser. Kaiser, I think, won the match, but then it's okay. I'm 26 years old. If you go and check out my about section of my page, it's I think I specify that I'm 26 years old. I was born in on May 5th, 1997, so I'm kind of old, young. But then again, I'm like some of these. I'm not like all of these other WWE fans who have been watching WWE forever. I actually started watching it no more than four, just over 4 years ago. My first time ever watching WWE was the official premiere of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. The first ever Friday Night SmackDown they ever did on Fox. That was my first time ever watching it. And ever since then I've been hooked. I've just been hooked. Ludwig Kaiser won that match, then decided to brutally assault Kofi Kingston, which then led to and then the following week we got a match, and then I think it was last week, we got Xavier Woods came back to confront Gunther and Imperium to say how he didn't like how they attacked his friend Kofi Kingston. That led to a match in which I think Xavier Woods got himself disqualified for throwing a announcer's chair at Kaiser, and they got into it, and so that then led to the match this week with New Day versus Imperium. It broke down. I can't remember who won the match or if either team won the match. All I know is that by the end of it, they were brawling and it was chaotic. And it was, like I said earlier, chaotic as WWE can be. We also got a backstage segment with Judgment Day talking about Drew McIntyre, how they didn't really know why Damian Priest even decided to accept this little challenge from Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest would even say that he hasn't really been the biggest fan of Rhea Ripley making matches for the Judgment Day at times. I think it's a safe bet that Damian Priest's days in Judgment Day are numbered. It's almost a given. Just like Bayley's days in Damage Control are numbered, I think Damian Priest is eventually going to be kicked out of the group. We got another backstage segment with New Day, and Kofi Kingston. Oh, okay, Doof. If you can, if you can come back at any time, come back at any time if you can. If you can't, then hope you have a nice day. I know some people when they come on here, they can't necessarily stay the whole time, which I understand why they can't. Yeah, we got a backstage segment, I guess, after the match was done. After their match was done, we got a backstage segment with Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods. They talked about how basically everybody in WWE has basically labeled them as this comedy group simply because of like the unicorns, the pancakes, the bootios, which I guess is they basically, people just don't think that New Day are capable of bringing the heat when they need to bring the heat. I think they can. They just need to be more aggressive. Thanks. I got 3 playlists that you guys can run if you can. My shorts, which are my short videos that last under a minute, my regular videos that are over a minute, and my live streams. And every time I upload a new video or live stream, or do a new live stream, or upload a new short video, I will be posting them. Yeah, I saw your comment, Austin. I will be saving it to my playlist of whichever one that's associated with. So that way my playlist will always be updated daily, or at least whenever I upload a new, you know. And thank you, Danny, for the extra like. I know that's you because you have at least 10 different channels. At least 10 to 12, however many channels you have. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. The love. Even if sometimes I don't. Even though sometimes I may not, need it. Wow, I'm surprised it took you that long to follow him on your. I guess that's your wrestling live stream channel that you subscribed to. We got Kofi Kingston has now issued a challenge to Gunther for the Intercontinental title. So I'm guessing we're going to get a match for the Intercontinental title either this upcoming week or whenever they decide to do it. Should be a good match. Kofi Kingston definitely is a good wrestler. So it should be a good match. Gunther will more than likely win. What's NJ? We got a Nia Jax promo where she in-ring promo where she basically stated that she's gonna win the Royal Rumble match. Wasn't much really to talk about, basically. I'm just saying it wasn't much to talk about because it was just kind of boring. I'm not a fan of Nia Jax, but the one thing I will say about Nia Jax's return so far is we have not gotten one complaint about her intentionally or unintentionally injuring somebody. And that is a good sign. The fact that so far, let's see, like October, either like September, October, November, December. Basically 5 months. Basically 5 months into her return, and we still have not gotten a complaint from anybody about her injuring anybody in the ring. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And that may be the one thing, and that may be what makes me like her this time around, is because we all know her history, how she has been. She's not the safest worker. Let's just say that. She's been known to injure people in the ring, and if this is her, basically her chance to say, "Hey, I've gotten better at not injuring people." That may be the one thing that gets me to like her again. Well, we'll see. But then we got a match between Miz and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I think Dirty Dominic Mysterio actually won this match via interference from the Judgment Day. So Dominic Mysterio wins the match for the first time since I don't know when. And thank you, Danny, for that extra like. Keep those likes coming, guys. Let's get them up to 10. Let's get up to 10 at least. We got a Damian Priest. Yes, I watched SmackDown. Last night, so I'll talk about that when I get to it. We got a Damian Priest interview before his match with Drew McIntyre. basically, we know what was said here. We also got a Drew McIntyre interview, also before his match with Damian Priest. Wasn't much really said here that really needed to be talked about. It was just normal, like taunting and stuff. Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much. Well, actually, it says 9 likes. So, actually, it says only 9. But thank you. Thank you. I know you got at least 3 more channels after this. You got Shock Theater and Star something. I know that's another one. And also your DJ Wrestling Inc. We also got last week we had a Akira Tozawa versus Ivar match, which Akira Tozawa actually won, which was a bit surprising, but damn, I did not think that was going to happen. we got a post-match beatdown, which included Valhalla attacking Maxine Dupree. Later on in the night, after the match, we got a backstage segment with the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile consulting with the Alpha Academy. Ivy Nile would go on to call out Valhalla, which would lead to this week's match, a match this week. When about 4 or 5 minutes, Ivy Nile would go on to win, which was impressive. I think Ivy Nile will be in the Women's Royal Rumble match, and she will get a good amount of time in the Women's Royal Rumble match. I don't think Valhalla will be in the Rumble match, although they might have her be in there anyways. We got a Chad Gable versus Ivar match. This was another match of and the matches that Chad Gable has had with bigger superstars has actually been, they've been very good. They've been very good. This match was very good. Went about 8 minutes, and it was a great match. I could have seen them go for maybe an extra 5 minutes just because it was so good. We also got a CM Punk versus and Cody Rhodes face off. They both talked about the Royal Rumble match and about this and that, and also Cody Rhodes talked about how CM Punk left and how Cody Rhodes picked up that torch that CM Punk dropped, and how that made him more straight edge than CM Punk. And then CM Punk at one point would even claim that he's more of an American dream than Cody Rhodes because of his dad being an electrician. Probably never would have known that if Cody Rhodes, CM Punk hadn't have said it. We got Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus a women's tag team match. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. I'm actually kind of glad that they're giving the women's tag team division a good recently. Now that Vince McMahon is gone. Oh no. Danny, I do not think Hulk Hogan is in the Rumble. I don't know. Stranger things have happened at the Royal Rumble. I mean, remember, I don't know if you remember, but in 2020, in the Women's Royal Rumble match, I think it was the number 29 position, we got Santina Marella making a surprise entrance. Now, we all know who that really was. We all know that it was just Santino Marella in drag, basically. I still can't get over that. Oh man, if that happens, I'm gonna be shocked. If Rock enters the Royal Rumble, he's winning it. No question. There's no question. If Rock doesn't enter the Royal Rumble, then it's still basically anybody's game. I'll give you guys my predictions. We got, I think Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark would win this match. They would then get attacked by Damage Control, basically the Kabuki Warriors, Shane of Asuka and Kairi Sane. That was brutal. Then we get to the main event, which was Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wins this match after R-Truth inadvertently costs a distraction, which costs Damian Priest to lose. At one point, R-Truth was in the ring with money flying everywhere. Damian Priest hits a South of Heaven chokeslam, basically gets the 3 count, but the ref isn't there to count it because he's busy dealing with R-Truth in the corner. Damian Priest basically throws R-Truth out of the ring. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3, Drew McIntyre wins. It was a good sort of match between two sort of heavy hitters, and I liked the match. But yeah, maybe Damian Priest should have won. I don't know. Maybe giving him some momentum going into Royal Rumble and in the WrestleMania season, maybe. Who knows? That was it, basically, for Monday Night Raw. If I had to rate Monday Night Raw, 6.5 out of 10. It was okay. Now on to Tuesday in NXT. Follow the Bradley's fun. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Now on to Tuesday, which is NXT. Yep. Yes. Yes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Happy days are here again. Happy days are here again. The skies are... I don't know how the song goes. But let's just say happy days are here again. I will talk about it later. We got a Josh Briggs would confronting Trick Williams. This would lead to a What? What do you mean by that? Now if only Bob Iger would resign from Disney. What do you mean by that? What's he done? Obviously, I don't even know who that guy is, actually, so. Oh, God. Josh Briggs would confront Trick Williams. Actually, I think it was like Ilya Dragunov and Trick Williams had a confrontation backstage. Josh Briggs, who last week had a backstage segment with JBL, just out of the blue, would confront both men. I think Josh Briggs won in a match with Trick Williams, but... Oh, okay. Well, I don't follow Disney hardly at all, so I wouldn't really know much about that. But Trick Williams would actually say, hey, I want you at 100% Ilya, so why not let me just take this match? So that's what we would get in the main event match. The main event segment, obviously, was Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria's contract signing for their match at Vengeance Day, which will be, I think, in only a week from this, which I think will be a week from this Saturday, from today. So I think they're going to have a match. Yeah, I know, yeah. And this scandal just was like that final nail in the coffin. I mean, he had only 1 life left, and he was like a cat with 9 lives. He used up 8 of his 9 lives, and he only had 1 left. And this scandal basically just was his 9th life, and he used it up, and now he has no lives left. He basically used up all his chances, and now he blew it. He blew it. So we got also a Ren Sinclair backstage segment with Fallon Henley. Apparently, this woman, Ren Sinclair, is having her first match on NXT today against Lash Legend. Don't know what that's gonna. She would actually, I think, go on to win the match. She would go on to win the match. Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson would go. And Jakara Jackson, who was accompanying Lash Legend, would attack Ren Sinclair after the match, only to have Fallon Henley make the save. We got. Also, we were supposed to get a Joe Gacy versus Dijak match this week. We didn't get that because the match never started. The match didn't even start. Basically, Dijak and Joe Gacy would just brawl on the outside of the ring area for a few minutes. Joe Gacy, every time Dijak would try to get Joe Gacy to stay down, Joe Gacy just kept getting back up. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Joe Gacy is basically showing Dijak that he's not scared of him. But it was a nice little match. It was a nice little segment to basically make it seem like Joe Gacy's a badass for not staying down and constantly wanting to get back up. He's kind of like the Undertaker. Hey, thanks Simply Vago for the love, for the like, and for showing up. I appreciate it. All of you guys that show up, I appreciate it very much. You guys are absolutely amazing. We got a promo from Ariana Grace. Wasn't anything special really, but it was what it was. We also got a Robert Stone. We also got a Robert Stone and Von Wagner segment where they would train, where Von Wagner was, I guess, apparently training for to compete for the Heritage Cup. Don't know how that match is going to go down if it eventually does go down. We also got a Lexis King versus Trey Bearhill match. That lasted basically just about 3 minutes. Wasn't much. Lexis King wins. We also got a segment with Chase U. Apparently, Chase U is now officially done. It's officially closed. It's gone. It's never coming back. Maybe. I don't know. But Chase U is now officially done. So I don't know what to say about this. It is what it is. I'm actually somewhat of a fan of Chase U, but I don't know if I. But hey, we got Dragon Lee versus Scripps. This was actually a nice little match. Lasted about 6 minutes. It was pretty decent. What happened after the match? Obafemi, who was the new NXT North American champion after cashing in his breakout contract on Dragon Lee, was there up in, I guess, in the balcony section, just taking in the match. After the match, Obafemi would tell Dragon Lee that he thought about it, and he will see Dragon Lee at Vengeance Day. So we will be getting Opa Femi versus Dragon Lee in a rematch for the NXT North American Championship. I think Dragon Lee will lose and will probably go back up to the main roster. So that's just my prediction. We got a Carmen Petrovic, don't know who she is, versus Blair Davenport match. Wasn't necessarily anything inspiring. Went about 4 minutes. Blair Davenport wins. Now, there are some reports, some rumors going around that Blair Davenport may be one of the surprise entrants on the NXT side of things for the Women's Royal Rumble match. Might be interesting to see. But I will go and talk about my predictions for the Royal Rumble. We also got a Josh Briggs and Trick Williams match. Obviously, this came about from earlier. And Trick Williams does win the match. It definitely looks as though like there's tension between Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. Obviously, I think Carmelo Hayes is going to turn on Trick Williams. When that happens, I don't know. Maybe it's at Vengeance Day. I don't know, but hey, it is what it is. The final segment of the night, the main event segment, was a Roxanne Perez Lyra Valkyria contract signing for their match at Vengeance Day. This was basically a typical contract signing, but this was basically a contract signing between two people who respect each other. After both had signed the contracts, Tatum Paxley, who has been in this sort of storyline with Lyra Valkyria, where she just is like stalking her and is like proclaims to be like Lyra's best friend and seems to want to help Lyra Valkyria. She attacks Roxanne Perez. Lyra obviously does not like this and says, "Get out! Like, what are you doing?" I mean, apparently Tatum thought that's what Lyra would have wanted her to do. But it's not like Roxanne Perez is a heel in this situation. She's still technically a face. But also, we got a Supernova Sessions, which is a talk show segment with Noam Dar of Metaphor. They had the women's breakout tournament winner from last year, Lola Vice. Apparently, her partnership with Elektra Lopez has dissolved. Now, obviously, Elektra Lopez made her debut on SmackDown last night, so I'm definitely going to be talking about that. We also got a semifinal match in the Men's Dusty Cup Classic. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. This was a very decent match, which Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker clearly won. It was, I think, although I would have liked for Axiom and Nathan Frazier to win, I kind of had this feeling they were going to give the win to Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, which they did. That was basically it for NXT. If I had to rate NXT, I would rate it a 6.5 out of 10 as well. It was pretty decent. That's just about it. Now on to AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. We got the opening segment was a Samoa Joe promo. Again, he basically reiterated what he said the previous week, that things are going to change around here. No more crying and complaining on social media to get a title shot. Okay, if you want a title shot, you're going to have to earn it. And that basically brings to light what happened within the last couple of weeks. In the last week or so, Tony Khan has announced that he's bringing back the ranking system that they used throughout the first 3 years of being in the company. Now, apparently, CM Punk was presumably the reason why the ranking system left in the first place. I'm guessing he just wasn't a fan of it. He was like, no, we don't need this, get rid of it. And Tony Khan at the time was like, okay, I'll do whatever it is you want, because he didn't want to anger CM Punk. Yeah. But yeah, we would actually get Hook would actually come out and go on to tell Samoa Joe, whenever it happens, you and I are gonna cross paths again. So that was, I think, a nice little segment to basically set up a potential rematch in the future for him. Like, I don't care where it happens, we're gonna have another match. I liked it. We also got the first match of the night was a Hangman Adam Page versus Penta El Zero Miedo. However you say his name. I don't think I'll ever be able to know how you spell his name. But Hangman Adam Page did win the match. After the match, we got a backstage segment with Hangman Adam Page being interviewed before being interrupted by Swerve Strickland. And apparently, and so officially, next week on AEW Dynamite, this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite, we will have I guess you could say, a dealer's choice. I guess you could say pick your poison, what they did a couple weeks, like 2 years ago, going into Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade's match at Halloween Havoc, they had a pick your poison. They did pick your poison, where basically Cora Jade got to pick Roxanne Perez's opponent on an episode of NXT, and then Roxanne Perez would get to do the same for Cora Jade. Although this I think was, you get to pick the stipulation of the match. So obviously, Paige is going to want to put Swerve Strickland through a beating next week, which I don't know what the match stipulations are going to be, but should be pretty good. To see. We got a Wardlow versus Trent Beretta match. Trent Beretta actually got in some offense. It was like a good 7-8 minute match. Trent Beretta got some offense in and looked good, even though Wardlow did eventually win, which I thought was predictable. We also got a Deonna Purrazzo and Toni Storm face-to-face. I was very much excited for this. Toni Storm still is, I think, the best gimmick in AEW. One of the best gimmicks in AEW right now, by far. I just don't know if there's anybody that can tell me any different. Her basically old school actress gimmick, where she's basically at times where she's like over dramatizing her emotions and hand gestures and movements. It's so good and so funny at times. Also, just the things that come out of her mouth are just so funny at times. It just makes you want to laugh. Also, like I probably forgot to mention, you know what I'm drinking, my Powerade Zero. You know I'm drinking my Powerade Zero, as always. We also got a Swerve Strickland versus Jeff Hardy match, which was actually very good. And I'm surprised it was as good as it was. But we got it, and it was a great match. So Swerve Strickland obviously was going to win this match, but still, it was a great match for what it was supposed to be. Basically, it was meant to build up both Hangman's match and Swerve Strickland's match was to build towards a potential triple threat match between them and Samoa Joe for the AEW Championship. I don't know. My prediction going into this year is that Swerve Strickland will be the one to win the AEW Championship eventually. When the match happens, I think Swerve Strickland wins. I think his match with Hangman on a Page at this last year's the Texas Death match with Hangman and Page last year at Full Gear, I think just solidified that he's winning a championship this year. Okay. Thanks, Danny, for showing up, for being here. We also got a Thunder Rosa and Red Velvet match. This was basically just to get Thunder Rosa back on TV. I'm glad that Thunder Rosa's back. She's been out for at least 2 years, basically a year and a half, more than that, because of an injury, and then also because of, I don't know why she was out for so long, but I'm glad that she's back. From what I had seen of her, she was really good. So I'm glad she's back. We got a Darby Allin and Sting promo where they would talk about, I guess, the retirement, sort of, and then they, at one point, then they started talking about the AEW tag team titles, and they want a match, and they now want a match with the tag team champions, Swerve, with Ricky Starks and Big Bill. We got, after this, we would get a response from that team, and now it appears that on February 7th, on an episode of AEW Dynamite on February 7th, we will get a match between those two teams, between both teams, for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and I'm just now going to say it. Darby Allin and Sting are going to win. Sting's going to get his first, quote-unquote, AEW Championship in WWE, and it's going to be the AEW Tag Team titles. I'm already calling it. Should be a good moment. Though, for both guys, but. And then they're going to go into their match at AEW, at Revolution, and they're going to put Nicholas and Matthew Jackson over. That's just my prediction for it. We also got a Acclaimed versus Mogul Embassy match for the AEW Trios titles. The Acclaimed obviously were going to win here. They might be setting up a potential unification of the ROH and AEW Trios titles, which is going to be, I think, which I think is a good move. it's a good move for WWE because I feel for AEW because I think they just need to get rid of those tag team titles for Ring of Honor. Those trios titles for Ring of Honor, get rid of them. We don't need them. That was AEW. If I had to rate AEW Dynamite this week, I would rate it a 6.5 out of 10. Wasn't the best, but it was pretty decent. Again, like Monday Night Raw and NXT was. Friday Night SmackDown, we got apparently some like Latin American singer / rapper or whatever introducing Randy Orton. Apparently he came out with like a new single recently called RKO, which featured, I guess, Randy Orton. I'll have to check it out. This led to a face-to-face confrontation between all three of the four participants in the fatal four-way match for the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles. This basically led to a brawl between all. I actually don't think this led to a brawl between any of them, except for no, LA Knight I think just left, and then Randy Orton. Thanks, James Gype. Thanks for smashing that like. Thanks for smashing that like, brother. I know it's been like 57 minutes into the live stream, but thank you. We got a Carlito. I think the first match we got was a Carlito versus Santos Escobar match. It was a decent match. Carlito looked a bit slow though in many of the moves he was doing. I don't know why that was, but I don't know. But he definitely seemed a little bit slow in the moves that he was doing. We got, what was significant about this match was we got a debut today. Actually, we got two debuts this week on the main roster for SmackDown. We got, doing this match, at one point, Zelina Vega was on the ring apron, I guess, sort of trying to, confront Santos. Trying to talk to Carlito just to get him back into the match. But then we see someone drag Zelina off the ring apron. And lo and behold, it is Elektra Lopez, who actually was a part of the original Legado del Fantasma down in NXT. And I think this is a good move. I think when they brought up Legado to the main roster and they paired Zelina Vega up with them, not Elektra Lopez, I thought this actually might have been a smart move considering they just probably didn't think she was ready for that main event slot. And she might not have been. She might still be sort of green, but I think it might be better now. I think it's better now than would have been later. She's been doing a lot with Lola Vice on NXT, and they literally just ended their partnership, so that may be actually the reason why they ended their partnership, because they were getting her ready for this main roster call-up to be with Santos. Because when Santos turned heel on Rey Mysterio, I thought if Santos decides to bring in sort of like a new Legado del Fantasma, a Legado 2.0, eventually he's going to have to bring in a woman superstar because Selena Vega is gonna be that. He's gonna always be there for LWL, and so this was a good move. Give Zelina Vega someone that she can obviously go up against at times if they ever want to book her in a match with somebody. But it is what it was. What it was. Also, throughout the night, Superstars they brought back the golden tumbler, which I'm pretty sure they. Now, for those of you who maybe now, most people use that I think for like bingo. If you go to like a bingo night, like a church that hosts bingo, that's usually what they use is a tumbler. They also use that sometimes, I guess, for like lottery, for the lottery and stuff. But they used that last night, to let superstars pick their numbers for the Royal Rumble. We didn't get to see any of the numbers. The only superstar who I think may or may not have sort of jinxed his number spot as far as giving up his number spot may have been R-Truth. Because when R-Truth picked his number, he looked at it, he was like, "Oh no, am I gonna have to go into quarantine or something related like that?" And he's like, and Nick Aldis is like, "No, Truth, that's the number. That's the number you chose to enter into the Royal Rumble match." And so immediately, as soon as he said quarantine, I'm like, "Oh, did he choose number 19? Because he might have been referring to COVID-19, and that may have been the number that he chose." We'll see what happens. We also got Bayley, Bianca Belair. We got Bobby Lashley, Carlito, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller, all choosing numbers. We got Alba Fire choosing a number to be in the Royal Rumble match. We even got Karrion Kross picking a number. We still don't know where a lot of these superstars will enter in, but we will see. We will see tonight when it happens. We got also a backstage competition between Jimmy Uso confronting AJ Styles, basically letting AJ know, "Hey, if you want to take out LA Knight tonight for us, then you won't have to worry about him. If you want to help us take out LA Knight, you won't have to worry about him for the Royal Rumble. And then it'll be just a triple threat match." Obviously, that didn't happen because when they eventually did tell him, "Do it," he attacked the Bloodline instead. Remember, he's going after Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. He's not, yes, LA Knight is in his way, but he's not the guy but he's not the real target, as far as who he wants to really go after. We also got Jimmy Uso, a backstage segment with Jimmy Uso and Paul Heyman basically telling Jimmy Uso, "You need to win the Royal Rumble match so you can go and challenge Seth Rollins over on Raw for his world title. You've got only one leg. You can beat him, bring the World Heavyweight Championship back to the Bloodline, and Roman Reigns will be very happy that you did that." Now, obviously, Jimmy Uso is not going to win the Royal Rumble. What I predict will happen is I predict Jimmy Uso may very well target his brother in the match if it happens. If they're in the match at some point, I think Jimmy Uso will be the one to throw Jey Uso over the top rope, will eliminate Jey Uso, and that will start the Jimmy Uso versus, or at least reignite the Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso feud on SmackDown. Now, though the WWE uploaded a video this morning where superstars got to share their best Royal Rumble moment as a fan, Jay's moment, best Royal Rumble moment that he talked about was his dad's moment, Rikishi, from the 2000 Royal Rumble, where he, Grandmaster Sexay, and Sky Juhadi did a dance break in the middle of the Royal Rumble. And Jimmy Uso wanted to use that as his greatest moment, but Jay had already taken that as his greatest WWE Royal Rumble moment, and Jimmy did look sort of pissed at that. So, and that's another little Easter egg of, oh, could potentially be seeing that feud eventually start up again. We got a video. We were shown a video of apparently a brawl that happened. I think it was either yesterday or earlier today between Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. Logan Paul was at the Performance Center training for his match against KO tonight at the Royal Rumble. We got a event. I guess Kevin Owens was leading, and then Logan Paul would just, I guess, throw a water bottle at KO. KO would then just scram to the ring, to the practice ring that was in there, and they would just start hitting each other. I thought it was pretty decent. Definitely built up their match at the Royal Rumble, which should be pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it should be pretty good. We got a women's tag team title match. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. This match, I'm not going to say it was like a foregone conclusion, because I kind of did want Katana Chance and Kaden Carter to win, but the Kabuki Warriors did win. The match itself was actually very good. It was a very good match, just somewhat predictable. Kabuki Warriors would win the titles in about a 9-minute match. But it was very good. The match was very good. I'm just not going to lie and say that the match wasn't good, because it was. We got also the Pride, which is Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. They had a face-to-face with the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross, Scarlett, AOP, and Paul Ellering. Returning Paul Ellering and AOP. They would get into a brawl with the Pride, Bobby Lashley. They would basically dismantle all three superstars, which, to be honest, to say that Bobby Lashley, a superstar who you would hardly ever say gets manhandled, to see someone like Bobby Lashley get manhandled, which is something that you just don't see very often, it was good to see them sort of present Bobby Lashley as someone who can be vulnerable. It was a good segment. We also got another match between Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller, and Carmelo Hayes and Austin Theory. This match did not have a botch. There was no botch. There was no injuries. So thank goodness for that. Grayson Waller, Carmelo Hayes would win. Then Austin Theory and Grayson Waller would continue to attack Carmelo Hayes, only for Carmelo Hayes' best friend and tag team partner Trick Williams to come in and make the save. The main event was a match between LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. This was also a predictable match. LA Knight wins. Then they try to attack Solo Sikoa. They try to attack Actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, no, the match ended in a DQ. But the match actually ended in DQ, not needed. So, but by the end of things, LA Knight was the one eventually left standing after AJ Styles would go after the Bloodline, and then Randy Orton and AJ Styles would brawl. Randy Orton would hit an RKO on AJ Styles before, and this as we thought the show was going off the air. LA Knight comes out of nowhere and hits an BFT. And then that's how the night would end, was LA Knight basically being the last man standing. That was basically SmackDown. If I had to rate SmackDown last night, it would be a 6 out of 10 maybe. Wasn't best. It was an okay show for what it was. Was what it was. Not gonna talk too much about it. That's it for my review of all the shows this week. Now I will get into my predictions for the Royal Rumble. I will give you my predictions as far as who I think is going to win the matches, who the surprise entrants for the Royal Rumble matches will be, and so forth and so forth, so on and so forth. As far as the women's Royal Rumble match, I think Blair Davenport is going to be there. I've heard a rumor recently that Blair Davenport was going to be one of the women from NXT represented in the women's Royal Rumble match. That should be interesting. Tiffany Stratton, who I think could also be in the women's Royal Rumble match this year. Also, you got Roxanne Perez, who could also be in the women's Rumble match this year. As far as any legends that I think could show up in the women's match, Michelle McCool has been talked about recently as a potential entrant. AJ Lee, who is the wife of CM Punk, she could make an appearance. Now, something that happened today that was shown, that I saw today, that surprised the hell out of me, was that Jordynne Grace, who is the current Knockouts champion in TNA, she could potentially enter the women's Royal Rumble match. They could be presenting this as this could be like what they did 2 years ago in the women's Royal Rumble match in 2022, when Mickie James was the reigning Knockouts champion, and she entered the Rumble match as a surprise entrant. This is apparently another agreement, shall we say, with TNA and WWE. I'm actually kind of excited to see what Jordynne Grace brings to the Royal Rumble match, should she be entered this year. Well, we'll see what happens. That's basically who I think will win the Royal Rumble match. I think Becky Lynch or Bayley. It just makes more sense for it to be either Becky Lynch or Bayley. That's my 2 predictions. As far as a dark horse pick, I'll go with Liv Morgan, because she will obviously be a good pick to win the Rumble if she comes back and is in the Rumble this year. So that's my predictions. As far as the men's Rumble match, as far as any surprise entrants from NXT, we could see Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, which I would love to see. Oh, and also as far as a surprise entrant for the women's Rumble match, we could see Lyra Valkyria, who is the current NXT Women's Champion. She could be a surprise entrant, because Roxanne Perez was the NXT Women's Champion last year, and they had her debut in the women's Rumble match. So that's also something they could do. I mean, those would be my 3 picks for the men's Rumble match. Those would be my 3 picks for the men's Rumble match. As far as the surprise entrants from the NXT side, I could see Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, and Ilya Dragunov. As far as legends, the only legend so far that has really even been considered possibly entering this year is X-Pac, which would be great if he does do it. It would be great to see X-Pac in the Rumble. And That's about it. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm all ready for it. Bless. Also, I think you're just now coming in. If you want to hit that like button, feel free to do so. You don't have to, but I would appreciate it. Like, as far as any other legends I would see in the Rumble match, I don't know what legends we are going to get, if we get any at all. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But as far as who wins the Rumble match, now as far as the final four in the men's Rumble match, I see no, Ever Bless. I'm sorry. She's not returning. She's going to AEW. She's going to AEW. She's going to AEW. I know it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't know why anybody would think that she's going back to WWE. When she's basically just going to be making less money, when she's basically going to be making less money than Charlotte Flair, basically playing second fiddle to Charlotte Flair, who she's been playing second fiddle to her entire career. This is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, well, I don't use Twitter. I don't care. I use Instagram. I do use Instagram, so I do, and I am subscribed to a whole bunch of wrestling. I am subscribed to and I do follow Sportskeeda and WWE Ringside News and a bunch of wrestling accounts on there, news accounts on Instagram, but that's about it. Yeah, let's wait and see. I'm like, I'll believe it when it happens. When it happens, I'll believe it. I'll only believe it when it happens. I'm just that kind of guy where I want to see it to believe it. Now, as far as the final four, now I know some people are saying, I don't think Brock Lesnar's going to be in the Rumble match, this and this, because of the scandal. I think he will be in there. And I think he will be one of the final four. I think it's going to be Brock Lesnar, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk, who are in the final four, perhaps. CM Punk wins. That's my prediction. CM Punk is gonna win the Rumble match. That's my prediction, unless they change it up to Gunther. Which again, I wouldn't be mad at that. That would be a great win for Gunther. But those are my two predictions. Gunther, it's either going to come down to Gunther, CM Punk, or Cody Rhodes. Those are the top three picks to win the Rumble this year. But yeah, we got, as far as who I think is going to win, yes, AJ Styles, CM Punk wins. That's my prediction. Oh, Everbless. No, he's on Monday. On Monday, he said he got some copyright strikes on one of his live streams, recently for copyrighted music, I guess. So he's been going live on his second channel, which is MJ Wrestling Shoots. But that's, yeah. Also, as far as the Roman Reigns match, Roman wins. That's my prediction. And as far as KO versus LA Knight, for KO versus Logan Paul, I think Logan Paul wins because I feel like they're going to give Logan Paul a match against LA Knight at WrestleMania for the United States Championship, which LA Knight will win. MJ Wrestling Shoots. Just in case you can't find it, I will share his live stream from last night on my community tab. That way you'll be able to see what the after this live stream's over with. I'll do that. I'll make sure to do that for you. But that is basically it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. It's not that long, not going to be that long now before the Royal Rumble starts. So I can't wait, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. As far as when you will see me, I will, like I said, ever bless. I will share Matt's live stream from last night onto my community tab, so you'll be able to see. So you'll be able to. I think you said you were gonna be there. So I think you said you were gonna be there. So if so, then wow, congrats. Hope you have a great time. But thank you guys for showing up. I want to thank you guys. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace. And stop.